once being flipped 6,000 times over a period of 3 hours, 2 minutes, and 27 seconds for a world record, and the largest ever being 49 feet in diameter at a whopping 6,614 pounds. Pancakes, or as we call them around my house, bread discs. And by we, I mean just me. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Wake Up Smelda. Let's get cooking. So with pancakes, I like to do the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients separately. That way I can do wet into dry in the long run. So first we just need to take our all-purpose flour and our baking powder and sift them, which means just putting them through a nice strainer to get rid of any impurities, and it makes it kind of mix together in a much better fashion. The sugar and the salt don't go through the strainer, so I put those in later. And then just take yourself a whisk and slowly mix it together so they all get nice and cohesive. Big word. Wet ingredients now. We've got our milk, our egg, and our butter. I wanted to show you in this shot as well that after I melted the butter, I wanted to keep that butter fat you see floating in the top. We don't want to skim it or clarify it and get rid of it. The butter fat works out when heated and reacts with the baking powder to make pockets and help your pancake poof up. So give your egg a nice whisking and then add your butter and butter fat and all that yummy goodness together and whisk all that together. Now we're going to create a well. I just used a ladle, that's what that's called, and that's just punching kind of a divot into the flour. Add your wet ingredients into that and take a whisk and slowly whisk it together. I start out with the whisk. I think I might have ended with a spatula, and so just do this nice and light. You still want some chunks in it. If you make it too smooth, then it changes the consistency, and you're also overworking your ingredients, namely your baking powder, which is going to help poof up. And if you overwork it, then it won't poof up the way you want. Whenever I do fruit and pancakes, such as this peach, I like to core it. Even with apples, I do this as well. Slice it into thinner slices, and then we'll pat it dry with a paper towel. That way, the liquid doesn't break apart our pancake when we put it into the middle of it. When it comes to temperature of our pan, which I'm going to be using just a regular nonstick pan sprayed with canola, I stray more on the side of just under medium, and no joke on my dial, it is 1, 2, all the way to 10, and I'll put it somewhere around 4.5 to 5. You need to find that sweet spot in your stove because everyone is different. But as long as the spray goes clear and not brown and burning as soon as I spray it on, I've got it there. If not, just take it off and let it cool down. It might take a couple of test pancakes, and they will have done their, their country a service. So you need to make sure that there are bubbles coming up from the one side before you flip it, low and slow. You're going to go ahead and add your fruit here, and it's okay to smush it down a little. Don't get too crazy and mess up all that nice fluff that you've been working towards. And just simply flip it with some sort of spatula. I have a small silicone one myself. And this was the best pancake I made today. I could put it on Instagram, give it its own Snapchat. That was awesome. And that probably took me a solid 3 takes. So don't worry if your first one doesn't come out perfect. So let's just go ahead and crank out a couple of ugly ones now here. Just to show you again, right heat. You don't want it to be super hot. You want it to come up slow like you would a real cake. Just let it slowly bake itself, if you will, and flip them over once the bubbles have come up. And I just went ahead and made a nice short stack, added a butter pat and let it melt, added some maple syrup, which, fun fact, I found out also, maple syrup used to just be a very, very sweet drink until people started putting it on things. Gross. Hey, thanks for watching that video. There's more like it down here, and if you enjoy them, Please don't forget to subscribe. Till next time, you came, you sauteed, you conquered.